Hi everyone. I am pretty sick, so please bear with me through this. I was hoping to be able to do the video and feel a little bit better for this, but it's just not happening. I've been waiting and it's not happening. So bear with me. Anyways, my research paper discusses how values, attitudes, and perceptions all play a part in influencing organizational behavior, and how understanding and evaluating these factors can lead us to overall improved performance and management. So, meaning it's super important for us to make sure that we align with the organization and share the same values. When values differ, it can make your job feel uncomfortable and it can set a negative tone. And our values, perceptions, attitudes, stress, they all affect our commitment and our engagement to our employer. And as our text even states, a happy employee is more productive. The three most important attitudes in an organizational setting are job satisfaction, organizational commitment, and employee engagement. Our happiness and positive attitude not only affects our work, but it can also affect the work of those around us. And, if you bring in a negative attitude, you're going to affect those around you to probably have a negative attitude too, and kind of, it just brings the whole energy level down. Or vice versa, and positive attitude can bring it up. Each of our perceptions are based off of our own experiences and relationships in our own lives. And because of that, we are all unique, and we perceive things in different ways. And it's important to note that as individuals, we react not to reality, but to the perceptions of reality. So when we feel we are treated in a certain way, we react based off of our perception, not necessarily what the other person meant to come off as, but how we perceive that engagement. So employees that perceive that they're being treated fairly are going to be motivated to perform, and vice versa. I've seen this done firsthand at the company that I work for. We will have a meeting, and people will come out of that meeting and come talk to me about how they felt about it, and it will be completely different. It will be the same meeting, and one coworker will feel positive and encouraged and motivated by how they perceived that meeting, and another coworker will be the complete opposite, and they'll feel discouraged, and they may have perceived our boss to have been dishonest. And then I will see their work completely coincide with this theory, in how they work based off of how they perceived that meeting. So if the motivated one who was positive about the meeting came out, and I can see that they are more productive, positive, bringing good energy to the group, and vice versa with the other one, it can really demotivate you and bring you down. And it's really unfortunate. A lot of that's been going on at my work. More people are perceiving a unhealthy work environment, and it's really making a huge impact into our performance as a company as a whole. So this is directly correlated with this theory of perspective performance expectancy, which states how one feels, what one believes, and how one observes all directly affect how one performs. Many companies are reflecting their own values through a company culture. Organizations with cultures that focus on their people and invest in the future are just more competitive than than company cultures that view employees as mere costs and more, and they can just be replaced easily. So when studying values, we ask ourselves, are our values based upon principles? Values are bridging our principles and behavior together. God's principles are external and permanent, and whereas our principles are subjective and internal, and our values sometimes need to be reevaluated and realigned with God's principles so that we can make sure that we're integrating our faith and principles into the workplace. It's becoming increasingly more important that we find organizations that line up with our Christian values so that we can hold up to higher standards of ethics, and finding a company that fits our culture will just satisfy that part of us, and which will lead to higher performance as well. So let's see. Whether individuals will be satisfied at any given job may depend on whether the job provides a way to satisfy those values. So understanding employees at work requires understanding their values. And as managers and leaders, it's our responsibility to get to the bottom of that and understand that we're all individuals and people are perceiving things in different ways. In my paper, I briefly discussed 2 companies that were creating positive experiences for their employers or for their employees in order to produce more satisfaction and increased performance. And that's Google and Trader Joe's. And Trader Joe's, I'm just going to talk more about Trader Joe's. They've decided to create an abundance of middle managers, and what this has done for them is not overload any one manager, so that they can focus on creating this positive work environment and really encourage their members to take ownership of their work and focus on building that trust. And they have all these managers that people can go to, that people can not only look up to, but strive to become that. And because there's more middle managers, you've got, more incentive. But this is exactly what this theory is discussing. So the perception of the workers at Trader Joe's is high and positive, which is directly correlating to the values that they devote to both their employees and customers. So lastly, I just wanted to discuss the thesis, which is the theory of perspective expectancy indicates that there is a direct influence on one's organizational performance, on one's attitude, values, and perceptions. And how we can look at each of these situations and help shape successful strategies is our job as leaders. But making sure as employees that we align with the organization's policies and practices is just so important. And hopefully you find something that is encouraging and a supportive work atmosphere, because we would get that development and trust and want to stay with that company and build a relationship and longevity with that company. Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. I'm looking forward to listening to all of your guys' presentations. Again, thanks for bearing with me. Bye.